completed it yet, but I do have it up.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting anybody to complete it yet. I just wanted you guys to have it to kind of go over it so you knew what we were going to be talking about tonight.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if anyone's going to watch. I am going to put this on YouTube, so I'll just introduce myself. And my name is Melissa Cruz with eXp Realty. I am a mentor, a realtor, and I am going to be talking about business planning tonight. We are about 2 weeks in almost to the last quarter of the year, so I kind of wanted to go over the end of the year and plans for next year. So I know with at least the mentees that I've had you guys for a little while now. So you guys have been doing it. You've been kind of doing some different things. So I really want to kind of fine tune. I think maybe now when we do this business plan again, you might understand it a little bit better and have a better idea of the things that you want to do, especially because this year has been so weird and so crazy and so different than any other year. We have had to get, I'm saying that all wrong, but we have had to get creative with our business and the conversations we're having, the different things that we're doing. So, I know people keep talking about, 2020 be over and then 2021 will be great, but it's not like we're going to go to bed on the 31st of December, wake up January 1st and everything's going to be back to normal. So right. I think we need to plan on this still continuing and having a good plan put in place, because if it does continue longer or whatever have you, we just need to be ready to go to really knock it out of the water for next year. So that was kind of, my thing for tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So what I have done, so I've done some business planning training before. I've taken classes, I've done different things. I kind of put together the pieces that I really like of each to make this a really simple plan. Because I think when you start adding a lot of things to it, it can get confusing. And there's other plans that you need to do as well, as far as like budgeting wise, goal, marketing, things like that. But that stuff you guys can kind of figure out, because everyone is has their own individual situation with their finances. So I just wanted to talk about your business activities, your goals, what are your plans and things like that. So the first page is figuring out what you want to hit. So if there's an income goal that you want to hit, say you want to make $100,000 next year, again, you need to figure out if that's going to be before expenses and taxes or after, or just like, hey, I want to make 100 and then you pay all your stuff after. I don't want to make it too complicated because we can go further in detail with that on an individual basis, but I wanted you guys to kind of put down what your income goal is, the average sales commission. I'm going to put it up like this so you can see both as I'm going through. Your average sale commission per sale. So this example here, so this person wanted to make 60,000. The example was 200,000 was their average sales price times a 3% commission. Sales price will vary depending on the customer you're working with, and as well as the commission. I like to just go 2.5% because you're seeing a lot of 5%, maybe 2.75. Because you're not always going to get 3. So I like to go on the lower spectrum of it, because if I make more, then that's fantastic, right? And that would be the average commission. And then you want to times what your split is with the company, and then divide that to your goal. And this example, they would need 13 transactions to make the 60,000. So again, is that 60,000 after expenses and taxes? No. And we can always do that math on another video. I didn't pull that target up today, but I just want to get you to start thinking about, because right now especially with mentees, you guys are brand new in the business. You're not going to have a whole ton of expenses besides your MLS fees and things like that. Because when you're first starting, you don't really have a lot of money to kind of dish out to get business, right? So you're really probably focusing on open houses and maybe calling for sale by owners, doing drive-bys, knocking on doors, things like that. And that doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. So this is more for you guys to kind of just get a plan. Again, we can always go back and do a really detailed plan about what that kind of looks like as far as breaking down your, the money and what you like really fine tuning it, because that does take a while to do. And everybody is different. So, I just wanted to do something that was kind of blanket for everybody. So on the bottom here, I left a section where you can take out the red question mark or things like that. The red marks that I put on the business plan when I send it to you are for you to take out or put your own numbers in. So you can figure out, hey, I need to sell, for this person, if they need to sell 13 transactions at 200,000 to make 60,000, how are you going to get the 13 transactions? Because you're averaging about 1 transaction a month, 12 for the year. So The rest of the plan is to figure out, how do I get to that number now? How do I sell that many transactions, you know? And then the next couple pages are the activities. So ideally, you want to probably stick to 3 lead generation activities that you're going to be doing. 4 might be a bit much, but if you have a solid 3 that you can focus on doing every week, every month, every day, every year, whatever, every quarter, then you should be good to go with that and let it run for a while. You can't do something for 2-3 months and say, hey, it's not working, and give up and do something else, because that doesn't work either. You really have to commit. And what I did include on everyone's, I would prefer, or you should, I guess, is having your sphere of influence, because those people already know you, like you, trust you. They're the ones that are going to give you a shot. They're the ones that you can talk to and really say, hey, listen, you know, I'm in real estate. This is what I do. Have those conversations, touch in with them every single month, send them emails, market updates. There's tons of things that you can do. So for this section, I want you to really detail, how are you going to contact your spheres of influence? How many transactions do you think you can get from your sphere? And then put that down. So if, say you think you can get 5 transactions at 200,000, then do the math, and you should be getting $1 million in sales just from your sphere, right? And that's almost half of what you need. So things like that. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so on the previous page, though, just this, we don't have to go through it here now, but I am curious about, like, other, on the expenses side, like how that would, you know, what would be the recommendation on things like, you know, marketing, blah, 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 stuff like that. If you have anything on that you could send over, it's like, here's kind of what you need to kind of set your expectations for, that'd be helpful too.
Right. No, and I can do that too.
Okay.
And I actually have a book, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book was really fantastic with kind of giving you some guidelines on that. And I got a lot of some of the things that I learned from there, plus the track program I just did. But the other thing is, I'm about to start reading this book. It's called Profit First, and it's a different way. Again, new things create new habits, so those things you're gonna have to practice doing until they become, you know, like your normal thing. But it's a way to set up your business so that you pay yourself first, and then you have other accounts where you put things in, so that you have an account for your expenses. So you can say, you know, you can see, you know, what you have in there, how much you can afford to spend per month every time you have a closing. So I'm about to start reading that one, and I'll share kind of what I've learned from that with you guys. But that's another way, again, when you start having things come in, it's a new way to practice kind of how how to run your business. Because I think when we get into real estate, we don't realize that we're running a business. You know, like a lot of realtors go from a 9 to 5, from paycheck to paycheck to commission check to commission check. You know, we really have to think about highs and lows. Some months you may not get closings, and how you're going to make your money last. Like it's really, really an interesting thing for sure to go through. Yeah. So I want you guys to kind of use this to help you through that process. But yeah, we could definitely go over some of the, you know, more detailed kind of stuff like that. I'd be happy to.
Okay, cool, thanks.
So your sphere, here again, just listing what you're going to do, how many times you're going to contact, where you're going to send, you know, the people that you do business with and that you close with should be in your sphere. Vendors that you meet that you can have the conversation, you know, that you're building relationships with, and committing to refer them business. And, you know, if they can commit to referring you at least 1 person a year, if you make that relationship with 20 people, if they all sent you 1 transaction per year, you've already hit 20 transactions. You can't foresee the price point or whatever, but at least you know that's coming in. So they should also be considered your sphere of influence. It's not just family and friends.
Got it. Okay.
People that you build relationships with, that they know you. And then of course, the people that don't know you yet, you build that relationship until they do get to know you, and then you move them to your sphere. The other 2 activities is totally up to you what you want to do. Some people love working with for sale by owners. Some want to work with expireds. I do recommend, because you're just starting out, to really commit to doing 1 to 2 open houses per weekend. It's the quickest way that you can get in front of people that may or may not be, you know, I mean, you'll have some looky-loos, but those are people that are coming in that want to buy, and some of them may have to sell. And it's literally almost nothing to do that. I mean, cost for your signs and maybe some stuff at the open house that you want to serve, which you don't really have to do if you don't want to. But that's really the cheapest way to kind of get out there. So those kinds of things, you know, just figure out what you want to do. have a plan. How are you going to go about it? If you want to, buy some addresses, there's programs out there where you can, kind of create a list of your target customer. And if you want to farm a neighborhood and use that list and commit to doing at least mailings to them for a year, then commit. If that's something you want to do, part that as part of your plan. If you want to farm, pick the neighborhood and commit to what you're going to do and have a plan for each month of what you're going to be sending out to those people. But try it for at least like 6 months to a year minimum. The farming is a long-term game. And then I wanted you to think about your goals. So what do you want to hit every year? Is there, have you done your 45-hour post-licensing class? Are there things that you want to hit per quarter? Things that you want to do monthly, things that you need to do weekly, daily? I mean, I know a lot of people do things on social media, so kind of posting with social media, maybe doing open houses every week, once a month, send an email or a mailer out. A quarter, you can do Popeyes to some of your core advocates that without a doubt they talk about you to other people when they talk about real estate. They're like, oh, I have to call this person, you need to call this person. Doing Popeyes and doing stuff to give back to those people who are your super fans. You can do that stuff quarterly. And then maybe once a year, if once you're kind of into the swing of things, doing a customer appreciation event or something, kind of think about really what you want to do and get all of your goals down, so you have an idea. And the whole point, I think, for me, for having you guys start this now is that we're in the last quarter of this year. And so if you can get your plan done before this month, I mean, we're kind of 2 weeks in, so I kind of want you guys to get this done quickly, because you really want to start building these habits now. Try to start putting these on your calendar and putting reminders to get you to start doing these things now, because a lot of times the things that you do today, you're probably not going to see for 90 days. And that'll be a really great kickstart for next year. This year is going to be whatever it is, but it could be the same next year too. So you really want to have like a plan and say, okay, we've been doing this for months now. What has changed, what has been working, what's not working, and start it now while we're still in this year going into next year, if that makes sense. And then I like to always include personal goals, because what I find is we get into the work mode, and we forget that we need to take care of ourselves and fill our cups before we can serve other people. So I like to include a page here so that you can put down education, because in this business, I highly suggest to never stop learning. There's always going to be something to learn about, something that you didn't know that maybe you were like, oh my God, I should have known that, or whatever. There's always going to be something, so never stop learning. Try to put down maybe books here that you want to read, classes that you're going to commit to take for, this year or every quarter or whatever it is. Fitness, this may be your thing or may not be your thing. Spiritual, I just try to include everything. You don't have to do every section if it's not your cup of tea. Okay, books here, yeah, personal development, business books, things like that. And then commit to, any organizations that you're interested in. What networking events do you want to become a part of? I know some of you are in BNI groups. What other networking groups out there can you get into? Is there an organization that you like, that you want to volunteer with, that you can commit doing? Like, just kind of get out there and really give back to the community and come from a place of contribution, because I think that really, really pays forward for us, or for people anyway in general. So I always like to include a page so that we don't forget that we need to also sometimes take a step back, or, because you'll see people where they're like, oh, I'm open 24/7. That's not really the kind of business that I want to run. I don't want to work 24/7. I have a job, I have my career, my job, whatever, but I also have a family. I got into this career because I have a family. And so there's limitations to so much I can do and handle. And I need to make sure that I add in stuff for me because we're serving other people all the time, and we can't serve from an empty cup. So just make sure you're putting things in there that you can be like, okay, I did not do this yet. I'm feeling kind of drained. I need to go back and reassess and put these, make these a priority just as much as your business.
Do you have any education recommendations, like aside from the post licensing one we have to do?
So I started with, so instead of doing when I got my sales associate license, I did the GRI program, the GRI designation. So when you do your sales associate, instead of doing your 45 hours, Florida has given us permission to do the GRI series, the 100 series, as our post, and it's a three series class for the 100, and that
Okay.
will cover your post for your sales associate license.
Okay.
I went ahead and once I hit my 24 months, I took my broker's class, got my broker's license, and then I took the last 2 GRI series for my post for that. So I was able to get my post licensing for my brokers done and got my GRI designation done at the same time. I love taking it that way. I felt like I learned a lot. And I know one of the other girls that I mentor, she just got done taking the GRI 100 series and she absolutely loved it. So she did take my advice on that. I know NEFAR offers it. That's where I usually take my classes. So I would recommend maybe doing that. Plus it's nice because instead of sitting down for 1 week from like 8 to 5:30, it breaks it up. So you have 2 days here, 2 days there, 2 days there. And then you have like class all day, class and an exam, so you don't have to sit there and think about all week, all the stuff they can possibly ask you. It just kind of breaks it down. So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of get through the material, but it's fantastic. I mean,
Okay.
are amazing. I'm trying to think what else. So I did get done the track program. I know I've talked to you guys a few times about it. There is a cost for that, but it is the best money I think you'll ever spend. And it will really, really set your whole business up. So if you guys have a closing and want to invest into yourself, because I mean, I think you should, I would recommend that program. It's a 12-week program. You can go at your own pace. There's videos, a workbook, and it literally teaches you how to run your business, things that you should do. They teach you how to do for sale by owners, to work expireds, how to build your relationships with your core advocates, how to really fine tune those detailed numbers about what you should be spending in marketing and what you should be doing here. And then, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I just cannot rave about it enough.
What's the name of that? What's the name of it? I'm sorry.
It's called Track, and it's with the Locker Room Nation. I can plug you in with somebody if you're interested.
Yeah, I'd like to learn more.
I
Yeah.
believe it's $500 for the course, and it's 12 weeks, but you have tons of support. There's a group that you can join on Facebook for support. You'll have me as well. I mean, I just went through it, and it's just fantastic. Like I was like, wow, I wish I would have known about this, when I first started, because it was really put together really well. It was put together, I mean, really, really well. So I'm a huge, huge fan of it. So I can definitely kind of plug you in or get you with the right person for that. And it might be where you might have to wait for your first transaction to close so you have that money for it. And that's fine. I just think, what I've learned throughout the years, it was chasing all these shiny things where like, oh, you pay this and I'm going to get these results. Oh, this worked for you. Let me pay that and then you get it. And it was like nothing really worked. It was just like, you guys aren't really giving me the tools I need to run a business, And so when I got into this and this was brought to my attention and was able to get through the program, I was like, this is what I needed. This is really the tool. They're giving you the tools you need to run your business. Everybody is different. Every market is different. Every person's going to, like different things to do to work their business. And so I just loved it. I really did. And I think it was just a fantastic program. So I can definitely pass that information along, and you guys can look into it and let me know what you think. But other than that, I mean, I try to make the business plan kind of simple. And again, like you said, Mike, we can do another call where we kind of really dig deeper into, because this 60,000 here is not including all of your expenses and taxes and things that you need to be paying out of pocket to get. So we can do, and we can kind of talk about that. I didn't have that stuff kind of ready with me tonight. But I just wanted you guys to really get an idea, sit down and start thinking about this year. What have you done? What can you do better? What have you been wanting to try that you maybe can commit to doing for 6 months to a year? Things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good.
Did you have any questions? I hope I didn't go through it too fast.
No, I think I think on the goals, when you think about those on a yearly, quarterly, monthly basis, like how do you try to break them down in terms of, do you have like a 2 or 3 good ones, or do they kind of feed off each other? Do they build upon each other? How do you like to structure them?
Give me 1 second, because I know I wrote mine down.
All right.
Find where I put it. I have my little handy dandy 2021 Bible here. Okay, so I printed out that page exactly that I sent you guys. So yearly, I haven't filled that in yet. But quarterly, I put down customer events, Popeyes, mailers, phone calls. Monthly, I put emails to database, hold 2 to 3 appointments with customers, and hold at least 3 open houses per month. Weekly, I put to meet with one vendor to build my advocate list, 1 new video per week as far as education or training, something like that. Weekly mentee training for you guys, 5 handwritten notes a week, and at least 1 a week to a vendor. Because usually when I meet with somebody, when I get done, I write them a thank you card and put it out in the mail.
Okay.
So out of those 5, at least 1 person that I met with, I do a thank you note. And then daily calling my database and my CRM, doing script practice with somebody, and posting to all social media channels. And I really wanted to start getting into the agent attraction. So just doing more training on that. So I did add, I don't think I wrote it down. So they have the iConversations with EXP and they put them on YouTube. So watching one of those a week to learn from the best that are doing it. And that was one of the things that I loved about EXP, because a lot of other companies have people that train you that are not selling real estate anymore, or if they did, they sold real estate a long time ago, and it's different right now. Real estate's changed so much that the training that they're offering is like, okay, that's fantastic for back when you sold real estate, but that does not pertain to real estate right now. So what I love is that EXP, especially with the iConversations, so they're bringing people that have hit icon status that are selling real estate right now, and they're sharing what is working for them. Like, there's no secrets in this business. So I love that people jump on and really want to share their stories and give what they have, what they're doing with everybody else, because it just makes everybody else successful too. So commit to watching at least, because they're like about an hour, so maybe watching one of those a week, and then really jumping into some of the agent attraction as far as education for me, learning about how can I have that conversation, because I do enjoy doing this, getting to help new agents, getting to help people that are stuck, or they're like, hey, listen, I've been doing this for 2 years and no one's really ever taught me what am I actually supposed to be doing, right? So being able to jump in there, kind of giving them like, okay, the map about what they should be doing, things like that. So that's kind of what I had on my list.
Okay. Well, that's good. Those are good examples.
Awesome. I'm glad that helped.
Helps stimulate some ideas for me. So yeah, I was curious about.
Now yearly, I don't know, for some reason I can't think of, I got stuck on the yearly, but I have also my customer appreciation calendar. So I have hung up on my board here each month what I'm going to be doing. So I know what I'm hitting every single month, when I'm doing Popeyes, when I'm doing events, the mailers that I'm going to be sending, all of that is already planned out for next year. And I've got whatever I'm doing for the rest of this year already done as well. So just kind of thinking about those, because like, if you wait until that month comes and you're like, oh, well, by the time I get this card put together, mailed out, it takes like a week or 10 days. I mean, half the month has gone by, and now you're like a month behind. So really having that plan of what you're going to be doing, and then put it in your calendar. Like, I'm a paper person still, so I have to write those things in my calendar, and I get to the day where I'm like, okay, today I'm supposed to be doing this, because it's going to set me up in the next 2 weeks to go out on time when I need these things to go out. And that kind of stuff. So just put it on your calendar, whether it's on your phone, Google, paper, whatever it is, just get it on there and get your plan ready. Because if you write it down, make the plan and put it in your schedule that you're going to make time to do it, it will get done. And so I have my 2021 everything in here.
Wow.
Notes, to-dos, my plan, my model as far as what I want to make next year, and all the fine-tuned details. Again, I got a lot of this from the track program. I also have in here my core advocates, so people that are my sphere as far as family and friends, and then I broke it down to vendors of people that I know that I've had conversations with. We meet with each other, we go for coffee, we see us refer each other on Facebook. Those people and what they do, so I know that I have a go-to list of like, this person does this, call them and recommend them on the spot. And then I can keep adding to this list. So as I meet people and really start going out there, because I feel like if you start building relationships, because honestly, if you don't have, especially for people that are like, hey, I just moved to Florida and got a real estate license. They don't know anybody. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
so
Like,
true.
your only sphere is going to be where you just came from, which you can do business there too. You can send referrals and get paid referrals and stuff, but you live in a different state now. So you really need to think about, where can I go to meet people? What is it that I like to do? Like, if you have any hobbies or things that you like to do, find meetup groups, find things on Facebook that work, other people that you can meet to do that. Again, it might take a little bit of time, because you don't want to go there and say, hey, I'm Mike, I'm in real estate, and this is what and because they're like, oh, that's why you joined the group. Do something that you really genuinely enjoy doing, or maybe something that you've wanted to do and try, and start getting to know people that you live with. And then I think organically you'll start building that relationship, and then they'll just be like, oh yeah, I remember talking to Mike. He was really nice. We've had really great conversations, because at some point what you do for a living is going to come up, because it's just what we talk about, right? So it's not like you have to be so pushy about it, but just going in there with genuine intentions, really giving back, coming from a place of contribution. And I think that in the long haul, it would really pay off. And I honestly, I think it will cost you less money too.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, because I'm like, you can spend tons of money on hoping that you might get a call, hoping that this person's going to see your card and call you, or hoping, you know what I mean? Like, I can guarantee that if I can get face to face with somebody and meet them, and they can get to know who I am as a person, and as a core or whatever, they're gonna be like, I really like her. She's really genuine.
Yeah.
She's really nice. And that's because that's just who I am. Now, if you're a shitty person, then you're just a shitty person. I can't help it. You know, but you guys are fantastic. I mean, I've met so many really great realtors that I get to mentor. You guys are all fantastic people. So I don't think any of that of you, but just be like who you are, be you, and be fantastic and fabulous.
That sounds good. So do you want to so do you want us to put kind of our thoughts together on these this week, and then set some time up to run them by you, or?
Yes, so I would like for these to be done by next week, and so I can meet with you all one-on-one, and we can go over it just to make sure that you guys have a clear goal on what you're doing. You can ask me any personal questions, because I know sometimes in a group you don't want to ask things personal about you, which is fine. I'm happy to do that, but I want to make sure you have this plan done. I want to make sure you guys have this stuff in your calendar, so you can start doing these things today, so you can start seeing results for that in the next coming months. And I mean,
Okay.
you might find that you're going to start seeing some of these results sooner than you thought,
Yeah.
because now you're being more intentional about what you're doing. You're actually like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm choosing to do this, because I'm not just waking up and saying, what should I do today? Who should I call? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Like, you have a genuine plan and idea of what you should be doing.
No, that's good. And I think that's part of that's part of the next level for me, is doing this type of planning where you do. And I'm usually a pretty organized person, but I think, because I'm splitting between two things now,
Right.
it's tough
And
to
some of
double.
you, yeah,
Yeah.
and some of you still work a full-time job, and that's fine. You just got to make a plan. Like, if your goal is to eventually be in real estate full-time, you got to make a plan. You have to make a plan of how you're going to make that happen, or if not, you're just going to be working the two forever. If you want to do it, if you want to, have this as a full-time career, that's great. And I'm happy to help, but you have to have a plan. You have to commit to maybe getting up earlier, or working in a little bit later, putting in the hours that you weren't able to do during the day. Whatever it is that you need to do, you can do it for sure. And I can help you make that plan. You just have to decide that's what you want to do, and make the plan, and then commit, be consistent about it. Do you hear my kids?
Did you hear my dogs?
No.
God, they sleep all day until I get on the phone with someone, and then they start acting like a bunch of freaks.
Right,
But
right. That's
no, this
funny.
is good. I'm gonna take a shot at it. I think I have a draft one of something like this from this year that I can use as a starting point too. So I'm
Yeah,
not.
I think all of you should have at least done it, because when I first get with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
I like for you guys to do a business plan, even though you guys are like, I don't know what in the world I'm supposed to be doing. But it gives you an idea. So now that you've kind of maybe done one, you've now been doing it for a few months, you've got somebody under contract, you're kind of going through that process. I think you have a better idea now this time. And then again, it may not be perfect, but if you can come back to me with something, we can talk about it, finalize your plan, and then we can touch base every week to see what you're doing, where you're going, who you're talking to and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. No, that's perfect.
All righty. Well, let me stop the recording.